What's up, family? I hope everyone is doing okay out there, in good spirits and in good health. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Mediazewtv. But before we get started, thanks again for your support. Can you please hit that like, share, and subscribe button? Let's go. Today, let's just get into something that's really deep, because y'all know over here, we don't do surface level. We're diving into what's been sitting in plain sight for decades. Record labels, big money, bigger secrets. Now let me ask you this. Do you really think record labels aren't great places for laundering money? Do you think the CIA has no interest in another way to wash money under the guise of legitimate business? Let's talk about what money laundering really is. It's simple. You take illegal activity and you blend it with something that looks clean on the surface. That's it. And what better place to do that than in the entertainment industry? Now, I'm not saying the CIA needed Death Row Records to watch Tupac, but I am saying that thinking the CIA wouldn't start or co-opt a record label is wildly naive. Look at who actually started Death Row Records. As much as he says it, it wasn't Suge Knight. It was actually Interscope Records. So let's kill the idea that Death Row just came out of nowhere. It had lots of backing, deep industry ties, and potentially other less obvious hands involved. We already know the CIA involves itself in all kinds of shady activity. That's not a conspiracy. That's documented history. So how hard would it be to use a record label as a front to legitimize operators, clean dirty money, or even gain access to foreign territories through music tours? An agent going on tour as a roadie or a lighting tech, that's child's play for the CIA. And here's what really gets me. This info is public knowledge. About 30% of their documents have been declassified and are available right now on their website. Yet people still laugh and brush it off. It's crazy. The tension in the air, the chaos, the manipulation, it's all documented. They planned this. People say, oh, they wouldn't do that. But there's literal documentation proving that they have. And they do. They manipulate the game all of the time. All of it. You want more proof? Look at how the CIA and FBI got behind the 1992 crime bill. Look at how they used hip hop and labels that they had a hand in creating to help push an agenda. It's all interconnected. And when it comes to Tupac, that's a whole different level. His parents were major figures in the Black Panther Party, leaders, and the FBI had a vendetta against the Panthers. That's historical fact. The moment Tupac was born, he was on their radar. They monitored him for years, tried to kill him multiple times before he was actually killed. And people are still programmed to ignore this because it sounds far-fetched. Please. The CIA has done far worse, and it's public knowledge. Reggie Wright Jr. himself confirmed that Death Row Records was infiltrated early on by FBI agents. And Pac's life? Monitored. His political aspirations? Targeted. The name Shakur alone was a red flag to the government. Tupac even shot 2 off-duty cops who were later found to be dirty and walked free because the guns they had were stolen from the evidence department. They hated him from day one, and the hate only grew as he got more famous. Reggie Wright Jr., a former cop, ended up as part owner of Death Row after Tupac's death. And his father, the head of homicide in Compton, Reggie Wright Sr. This wasn't just street beef. This was deeper. The gun used to shoot Tupac was found in Compton, then sent to Las Vegas. Then the gun vanished. Orlando Anderson might have been the shooter, but make no mistake, it was an inside job. Over 25 people connected to the case, dead under suspicious circumstances. That's not a coincidence. Yes, Tupac was about to leave death row. He was auditing them. He knew Suge Knight owed him millions of dollars. He was worth more dead than alive to Suge Knight, to Interscope, to everyone involved. Suge was already connected with law enforcement in LA and Las Vegas. Everyone got what they wanted. Now, you still think the CIA wouldn't be involved? This ain't just about rap. Tupac wasn't just some gangster rapper. He was a revolutionary in the making. He wasn't rapping empty bars. He was telling black people to rise up, to educate themselves, to challenge the system, track after track. And that's dangerous to the establishment. And if you think the CIA wasn't watching, you're not paying attention. There's always been a hip hop police, but not a full-blown intelligence operation behind it. They had to stop the spark before it became a flame. And the audit Tupac started, that's what helped his mom later, Afeni, win $19 million in unpaid royalties from Death Row Records. He knew something was wrong. He researched. He listened to his mother. He was politically sharp, just like Obama was in his early 20s, except Tupac was driven by a deeper, more authentic heart for the people. And here's where it gets even more real. Afeni didn't talk too much publicly. Why? Maybe because she knew too much. Maybe because speaking up would have put her life and her family in danger. And look, I'm not saying for certain Tupac was murdered by the CIA. I'm saying it's possible. I'm also saying there's reason to believe Tupac himself could have been used, knowingly or unknowingly, from his name to who gave him his start. There was a lot to look into. His mentor, Leila Steinberg, his connections to the Communist Party through the people he dated. It all paints a picture that makes you question everything. Look at the record labels. They weren't independent. Death Row Records was launched by Interscope Records. Suge really worked for Interscope Records. Dr. Dre left Death Row, backed by the same people who launched it. It's all one big loop. The record labels, entertainment, politics, organized crime. You hire drug dealers to run record labels, and you fund the chaos. Simple. If you want more proof, I recommend reading a book called The Dark Alliance by Gary Webb. That book breaks it all down. And get this, Webb's death was ruled a suicide, but the man had 2 gunshot wounds to the back of his head. Now let that sink in. But what do you all think? Leave your comments below. And thanks for joining us for another episode of Mediazewtv. And if you enjoyed the video and haven't done so already, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And remember to put God first, stay engaged, and stay informed. Peace.